Hola, Luli here, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our family so that you get to know us a little. My husband's name is Han, and we met in 2008 and were married in 2011. And then we had our first daughter, Soleil, who is now 3.5. So she was born in 2012. And then we added our little Selah, who was born in March of 2015, and so she's currently 7 months. And so that's our family. What else? Okay, so my husband Han his mom is from Vietnam and his dad is from the U.S. He's white, and so he's a halfie. And I was born here in the U.S. My parents are both from Mexico, and so I was the one who was brought up speaking Spanish. Well, Spanish was my first language because that's all that my parents pretty much speak. And so I'm the one who is going to be teaching our girls the Spanish. I think Han says he took some Spanish in high school, so he's getting better, because he hears us speaking in Spanish, and so he's catching on, and hopefully he's going to become also bilingual. That's my hope. I don't know about that actually being his desire, but that's what I would like. He does speak some Vietnamese. I can't say that he's like fluent in Vietnamese because I've never heard him actually have like a complete conversation in Vietnamese. He says that it was also his first language because that's what his mother would speak to him when he was little, although I don't think he's really retained it much, or maybe it's because lack of practice. But my wish would also be for our daughters to, because they are part Vietnamese, part white, and part Mexican, I would love for them to speak English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. So we're going to figure that one out. Maybe here in the near future we can do something like, hire a tutor to teach to teach Vietnamese to them so that they could add Vietnamese to their languages that they're going to know. I think it's going to make it a little bit more difficult in a way for our daughters to be fully bilingual will be the fact that they're not going to hear as much Spanish as they would hear normally if like both parents spoke Spanish. With me growing up, both my parents spoke Spanish, and so it was like Spanish at home and English at school. And so here it's a little bit different because of the fact that my husband does not speak Spanish fluently, and so when it's time to speak to him, I can't communicate with him in Spanish, and so then I have to go to English. And so then they hear that and they're absorbing that, and that's a little difficult, a little hurdle, but not something that we can, that we can't overcome. Just have to take things a little, do it a little different. One of the issues that we have is that I'm speaking Spanish to Soleil, and then I have to explain something to my husband, and so then I'll switch into English, and then we're speaking English, and she hears that, and then she wants to come to me to ask me for things in English, and then I sometimes will not respond back in Spanish, which is what I'm supposed to do, but I get back into my whole English mode, so I code switch back into English, and then she comes and says something to me in English, and I respond in English, and that's a big no. That is not what I want to do, because when I do that, it's like I'm just going backwards, and that's not what I want to do. And so my goal is to stay in Spanish with my girls, and so that is something that I'm working on, that I need to continue working on daily. If you have any tips, ideas for me, I will welcome them. But yeah, so that's like the big issue. The other big issue now is, Soleil attends a Mother's Day out. She has been for, this is like the third year. And this year she's actually going more days to the Mother's Day out. And it's like from 9:30 to 2:30. It's about 5 hours. Of course, that's in English. And so there's a lot more English exposure. Not only is she hearing the conversation that's going on between her mom and dad in English, she goes to her Mother's Day out and they are speaking in English to her there. So I'm kind of like, it's a little bit too much English for her right now, because I know that the first years, the first 8 to 9 years are the crucial years for learning. Learning in general, but especially for languages, first 8 to 9 years, crucial time. And so got to figure that out. Got to figure out if I might take her out of some of the days of her Mother's Day out to avoid the whole big time English exposure. But we'll see, because now it's like I'll be speaking Spanish to her, and then she's just completely, she's completely responding to me in English, and she's telling me, I don't know Espanol. Yeah, she's saying she does not know, but she does. The truth is that she completely understands everything that I am saying to her. Any demand, anything that I tell her to do, anything that I'm asking her, she's understanding me, because I'm saying it in Spanish, but she is now starting to just respond to me in English, which is not what I want. That is not the goal here. So we have to really get in there and fix that. These past couple of weeks, I've really been like to the point where I'm telling her, that I don't understand her when she responds to me in English. So, I say something in Spanish, she responds in English, and I say, no te entiendo, realmente no te entiendo. And then sometimes that'll work, and she will, think and come up with a response in Spanish. Other times she's kind of like not having it, and so it turns into like a little battle, because she's like, but mommy, I don't know how to say it in Espanol. I don't know. But the truth be told is that she does know. It's taking her longer, in her brain to get it together. And I guess sometimes she doesn't want to do that. And so we're working on it. It's a journey, like I said. But I'm excited about being on the journey, because I know that in the end, the outcome will be a positive one. And the positive one for us as a family would be for them to be bilingual. We want them to get the Spanish, and we're gonna figure it out. So that's a little bit about our family.